The Medici family, one of the most influential and powerful families in European history, played a significant role in the political, cultural, and economic landscape of Italy during the Renaissance. Originating from Florence, the Medici family rose to prominence in the 15th century, thanks to their success in banking and trade. Over the next few centuries, they would become key patrons of the arts, amassing immense wealth and political power. The Medici family's legacy is closely linked to the flourishing of the Italian Renaissance and the cultural achievements that define the period. This essay delves into the history of the Medici family, their political influence, their role as patrons of the arts, and their lasting impact on European history. The rise of the Medici family. The origins of the Medici family can be traced back to the 12th century, when they were relatively minor players in Florentine society. However, it wasn't until the 14th century that they began to rise to prominence. Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici, 1360–1429, is widely considered the founder of the family's fortunes. Giovanni established the Medici Bank in 1397, which quickly became one of the most successful financial institutions in Europe. Through the bank, the Medici family accumulated vast wealth, and their influence in Florence grew steadily. The banking empire allowed the Medici to exert significant control over the political landscape of Florence, a city-state that was at the time a republic. Giovanni's son, Cosimo de' Medici, 1389–1464, took over the family business and further expanded the bank's reach. Cosimo was not only a shrewd businessman but also a skilled politician. He managed to become the de facto ruler of Florence by manipulating the city's complex political structure without holding any formal title. His ability to navigate the intricacies of Florentine politics earned him the title Pater Patriae, Father of the Fatherland, the Medici as patrons of the arts. One of the most enduring aspects of the Medici legacy is their role as patrons of the arts. Cosimo de' Medici, in particular, used his wealth to support artists, architects, and scholars, helping to usher in the Renaissance, a period of immense cultural and intellectual growth. The Medici's patronage extended to some of the most famous artists and thinkers of the time, including Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Donatello, and Sandro Botticelli. Cosimo was also instrumental in the construction of important architectural landmarks in Florence, such as the Basilica of San Lorenzo and the Medici Palace. Under his patronage, Florence became a center of artistic and intellectual achievement, attracting talent from all over Europe. His support of the arts was not merely a personal interest but also a strategic move to enhance the family's prestige and influence. Lorenzo de' Medici, known as Lorenzo the Magnificent, 1449–1492, continued his grandfather Cosimo's tradition of patronage. Lorenzo's reign marked the height of the Medici family's influence in Florence. A poet and scholar in his own right, Lorenzo cultivated a court that became a vibrant cultural hub. He sponsored numerous artists, including Michelangelo, who lived with the Medici family as a young man. Lorenzo also supported humanists and philosophers, such as Marsilio Ficino and Pico della Mirandola, who contributed to the intellectual and philosophical underpinnings of the Renaissance, the Medici and political power. While the Medici family is often remembered for their contributions to art and culture, they were also deeply involved in the political affairs of Florence and beyond. As a wealthy banking family, the Medici wielded considerable financial influence, and they used their wealth to gain political power. Although Florence was nominally a republic during much of the Medici's rule, the family effectively controlled the government behind the scenes through strategic alliances, patronage, and manipulation of the political system. Cosimo de' Medici's political acumen allowed him to maintain control over Florence for decades without holding any official title. His influence extended beyond Florence, as the Medici Bank became the financial institution of choice for many European monarchs, including the Pope. This connection to the papacy would prove to be a key factor in the family's continued success. Lorenzo the Magnificent also wielded considerable political power during his lifetime. He maintained a delicate balance of power in Italy through diplomacy and alliances with other city-states and European powers. Lorenzo's ability to navigate the complex political landscape of Renaissance Italy helped to maintain peace and stability in Florence during his reign. However, his death in 1492 marked the beginning of a period of instability for the Medici family, as they faced opposition from both within Florence and from external forces, the Medici and the papacy. One of the most significant aspects of the Medici family's power was their close relationship with the Catholic Church. Over the course of several generations, the Medici managed to place multiple family members in key positions within the Church, including several who became popes. Giovanni de' Medici, the son of Lorenzo the Magnificent, became Pope Leo X in 1513. Leo X's papacy was marked by extravagant spending and lavish patronage of the arts, which helped to further cement the Medici family's cultural legacy. However, his excessive spending also contributed to the financial crisis that eventually led to the Protestant Reformation. Another Medici, Giulio de' Medici, became Pope Clement VII in 1523. His papacy was tumultuous, as it coincided with the Protestant Reformation and the sack of Rome in 1527. Despite these challenges, Clement VII managed to maintain the Medici's influence in both Florence and the wider Catholic world. The family's connection to the papacy helped to ensure their continued political and financial power, even during times of upheaval. The decline and resurgence of the Medici. After the death of Lorenzo the Magnificent, the Medici family faced a period of decline. Internal divisions and external pressures, such as the rise of the Dominican friar Girolamo Savonarola, led to the family's temporary exile from Florence in 1494. Savonarola, a fervent critic of the Medici and their patronage of the arts, took control of Florence and instituted a theocratic government. However, his reign was short-lived, and the Medici returned to power in 1512. The Medici family experienced a resurgence in the 16th century, thanks in large part to their continued influence in the Catholic Church. Cosimo I de' Medici, 1519–1574, became the first Grand Duke of Tuscany in 1569, marking a new era of Medici dominance in Florence. Under Cosimo I's rule, the family consolidated their power and expanded their influence across Tuscany. Cosimo I also continued the tradition of patronage, commissioning numerous public works and supporting artists such as Giorgio Vasari and Benvenuto Cellini, the end of the Medici line. The Medici family continued to rule Tuscany until the 18th century, but their influence gradually waned over time. The last member of the family to hold power was Gian Gastone de' Medici, who died in 1737 without an heir. With his death, the main line of the Medici family came to an end. Tuscany was subsequently absorbed into the Austrian Empire, and the Medici's political power was lost. Despite the end of their political dynasty, the Medici family's cultural and artistic legacy endured. The artworks, buildings, and institutions they patronized continue to be celebrated as some of the greatest achievements of the Renaissance. The Medici's role in shaping the course of European history, particularly through their support of the arts and their influence in the Catholic Church, remains a defining feature of the Renaissance and its lasting impact on Western civilization. The Medici family played a pivotal role in the cultural, political, and economic development of Renaissance Italy. Their rise to power through banking and their ability to navigate the political landscape of Florence allowed them to become one of the most influential families in European history. Through their patronage of the arts and their close ties to the Catholic Church, the Medici family helped to shape the course of the Renaissance and left a lasting legacy that continues to be celebrated today.